Former President Jacob Zuma, the chairperson of SANCO in KwaZulu-Natal or not? Well, those who were in that particular conference at the weekend with him say that he is, while some in the other part of SANCO say he's not. So they further go on to call this group bogus. So is your head spinning yet? Just like mine? Well, let's get some clarity on what exactly is going on here from the organization. Let's speak to Mike Soko, SANCO General Secretary. Mr. Soko, thank you so much for your time this evening. So who is the chairperson of SANCO in KwaZulu-Natal? Is it Lawrence Dube or former President Jacob Zuma?
Good evening, Bongiwe, and to the listeners at home. As SANCO, NEC would like to confirm that in KwaZulu-Natal, a constitutional conference was held on the 12th of June, 2021. And the leadership collective was elected, led by Comrade Lawrence Dube as provincial chairperson and Comrade Sizwe Cele as provincial secretary.
So your statement, and I was also watching your press briefing earlier on, you talk about, just how saddened you are that former President Jacob Zuma decided to do this. You say that, SANCO has become accustomed by the bogus elections, and I'm going to come to that in just a moment, and structures that claim to represent SANCO at all levels of the organization. But that former President Zuma would take advantage of these opportunistic individuals honestly makes us sad. Tell us more.
We are very sad about the events that took place on Friday last week, where it was claimed that where a bogus conference was convened by people who are just power mongers, and in the process, for their own selfish ends, we feel as an organization that they are now using the former president, Jacob Zuma, to gain some traction or relevance, So, and it is for that reason that we are very sad. We know the contributions of Comrade Jacob Zuma, and we regard him as a stalwart of a struggle against apartheid. So his contributions, in as far as the struggle is concerned, are quite immense to be put to waste by these rebels.
Have you reached out to him?
We are intending to do so. We are engaging with the leadership of SANCO, making some kind of arrangements that we reach out to Comrade Zuma. But we also felt that when he was confronted, we anticipated that perhaps Comrade Zuma would have also reached out to us to indicate what these guys are proposing to him. But we will definitely try our utmost best to reach out to him.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people that follow your work are probably confused by this, because there is that court case that is still waiting to be heard in the court, where you are challenging the legitimacy of the parallel structures. But in the absence of that, those that were leading the conference at the weekend are calling themselves legitimate, and you are saying that you are legitimate. Now, someone who follows you tonight is wondering who exactly is legitimate, because the court hasn't even pronounced on this particular matter.
We actually are the legitimate one. Remember, it is us who took them to court with one sole aim to prevent them from continuing to abuse the name and logo of SANCO. You see, like I indicated earlier, we submitted our application in two parts, Part A and Part B. Yeah. Part A was the agency, because we applied to the court on urgent basis that they should stop that conference, that bogus conference that was going to take place in KZN in March. So the court said they see no agents because we delayed to approach the court.
So,
but this bogus group of this bogus group now is going around lying to people that they were given permission to go ahead with the conference by the courts. The court never gave that because the merits of the case were not dealt with on Part A. But the agents, it was our Part A application was dismissed on the basis of the fact that it was not agent.
So, Mr.
On
Soko,
that basis only.
Mr. Soko, pardon me for coming in there. We don't have a lot of time. So basically, very briefly, then what you're telling us is that as SANCO, you are seized with factional battles instead of doing your work.
We are doing our work ourselves. Our structures on the ground are on the ground doing organizational work. Not long last year, Gauteng IPCC then led a march to ESCOM to complain about these cut-offs that were taking place in Soweto and the load shedding. Mpumalanga also last year, towards the end of last year, at Emalahleni, they led a march to ESCOM to complain about load shedding and the closure, the intended closure, or the so-called closure of the power, the coal mines.
But would you say
they were fighting against all those? So we are on the ground.
Would you say though? Pardon me for coming in there. Would you say, though, as the leadership, that you're still in control of what is happening within the organization? And I say this because your statement today says that SANCO has become accustomed by the bogus elections and structures that claim to represent SANCO at all levels. So it sounds to me like you're saying that you've got so many bogus things happening, structures happening within the movement, you don't even, even want to enter it yourself. So are you still in control?
We are in control. Remember, this bogus group, they're not interested in doing community work. Their interest is just to position themselves for deployments in government. That's their only interest. So ourselves, we are doing the work to improve the lives of our communities on the ground. We are on the ground, make no mistake.
Mr. Soko,
there's a march that is going to take place in Mpumalanga this coming Friday.